I am N.S. Venkatraman. I am speaking on behalf of Nandini Voice for the Deprived, a Chennai-based not-for-profit organization. For over 70 years now, Brahmin community in Tamil Nadu have been abused, insulted, and even physically attacked on some occasions by those who claimed that they were part of the so-called Dravidian movement. In the past, we have seen scenario where the sacred thread of Brahmins were cut forcibly and tough of Brahmins were also removed forcibly. However, Brahmin community silently and helplessly ducked under the pressure and showed no sign of resistance or fight back. Of course, in the recent past, the intensity of the hate campaign against Brahmin community reduced somewhat in Tamil Nadu, though it has not been stopped. This has been so probably due to the fact that there have been no resistance from the Brahmins, and the hate campaigners derived or must have derived vicarious satisfaction that further whipping the Brahmins would be like whipping on the dead snake. That is how the intensity of the hate campaign against the Brahmins have come down to some extent in Tamil Nadu in the recent past. Now let us look at the scenario where the Brahmins have migrated from the rural areas to cities and towns. The net result of such situation is that Brahmins have largely vacated from villages and rural areas of Tamil Nadu and have moved to the big towns and cities where they thought that their presence would not be noticed and they would be lost in the crowd. Further, the size of the Brahmin families have also shrunk, and Brahmin population have been steadily declining over the years. The overwhelming view of the Brahmin community is that Tamil Nadu is no place for Brahmins, and steadily Brahmins are seeking pastures elsewhere and are moving to other states in India and abroad. Perhaps those who still live in Tamil Nadu are senior people who cannot move away due to age and being at the retirement stage, or those who could not move out of Tamil Nadu in spite of their efforts and probably due to some other minor reasons. Now let us look into the scenario how the reservation policy of the government has severely impacted the Brahmin community. Today, due to the reservation policy of the government of Tamil Nadu, the so-called forward class Brahmins have been eliminated in calculated manner in the reservation quota, which is more than 65% for government jobs and education institutions run by the government. Many Brahmins from low income group who cannot afford to pay high school fees in private institutions seem to be willing or rather unwilling to send their children to government-run schools where there is no fees, even if they would get admission in open category. This is mainly due to their fear of anti-Brahmin caste feelings that may possibly be there in the government schools. Therefore, Brahmins have to seek admission in the unreserved quota, which are small percentage in the open category. Due to these restrictions, many Brahmins are unable to get admission in these institutions. Brahmins have become conspicuous by near absence in government departments in Tamil Nadu and in education institutions run by government of Tamil Nadu. Of course, there are still some minuscule number of Brahmins in high and middle level positions due to their success in competitive examinations conducted by central government departments and central government run public sector organizations. However, today Brahmins are mostly employed in the private sector units. Some Brahmins, of course, still remain as owners of medium and large scale industries and commercial establishments in Tamil Nadu. It should be noted that this is mainly due to the fact that such units were set up long back, and those who are in high positions today in these units, if they belong to Brahmin community, they are still in top position due to succession based on hierarchy. Now look at the scenario of the changing lifestyle of Brahmins. Due to such climate of hate prevailing in Tamil Nadu, there have been considerable pressure on the Brahmin community that have been steadily built up over the years. Such pressure have resulted in considerable changes in the social structure and lifestyle of Brahmins. Perhaps the situation is developing where some of the Brahmin youth, both boys and girls, have become self-critical of their lineage. Such ongoing changes have resulted in conditions where the Brahmin community could be diluted in the coming years due to frequent occurrence of intercaste marriages by Brahmin boys and girls, not only with Indians, sometimes even with foreigners. The traditional religious practices of Brahmins are getting diluted or even given up in some cases, with number of Tamil Brahmins going out of the country and settling abroad as citizens with no plans to come back to India. They inevitably get themselves absorbed in overseas culture. These seem to have become inevitable. Now let us look into the historical changing rules of the Brahmin community. Historically and traditionally, the Brahmin community has been entrusted with the duty and responsibility to preserve the Vedic knowledge, which are accompanied by various mantras, hymns, and other procedures. The number of Brahmins who still learn, understand, and try to preserve such holy hymns are declining rapidly. Of course, special tuition centers known as Veda Pathasala are being organized by individual groups, but most of these tuition centers do not get enough students. In spite of their free stay, free boarding, and stipend facilities offered. Obviously, this means that Brahmin families and Brahmin youth are looking for their future elsewhere and not in traditional Brahmin life pattern. Like adding fuel to the fire, the present Tamil Nadu government is interfering in the management of Hindu temples and is taking steps to appoint priests who are not Brahmins. In such condition, the position and job prospects of Brahmins as priests in the temples are also rapidly getting eroded and even wiped out to some extent. Now look into the economic disparity conditions faced by the Brahmins. Today, there is considerable economic disparity between the Brahmins themselves. While some of the Brahmins have reasonably educated themselves and have managed to remain in middle class at economic level, there are section of Brahmins who largely make their living by working in temples, as priests, and by offering their services during religious ceremonies. Most of such Brahmins are in distressed conditions due to financial issues. As a result, most of them would like to move away from their present avocation and ensure that their children do not follow the practice of their parents. Such poor Brahmins desperately want to educate their sons and daughters to improve their financial status in life. However, with government education institutions largely being denied to them due to reservation policy, they have to necessarily admit their children in private education institutions where fees are exorbitant. Having no other way, they take the risk of admitting the children in private education institutions and run from pillar to post to get donation from trusts and kind-hearted individuals. Often they find that such donations are hard to get by or hard to get adequately, since the fees in the private education institutions are exorbitant. In such conditions, the Brahmin family, particularly belonging to lower income group, are unable to educate their children the way that they want, and they seem to be in a feeling of crisis and distress situation. Now let us look at the situation where really the Brahmins are at the crossroads today. As I conclude this talk, I need to point out that the decline in what is known as Brahmin standards have not taken place overnight, but the decline has been happening steadily and slowly over the last several decades. Now it appears that it has reached an inflection point. Is it a point of no return? Many people are wondering. Until now, the Brahmin priests have been holding the fort to some extent by learning and reciting the hymns and mantras in temples during the marriage functions and in conducting pujas in homes. While those of the Brahmins who still participate repeat the mantras with devotion, whether they understand the significance or not, the concern is that with the decline of number of priests and lesser interest seen amongst growing section of Brahmin community, the question remains as who would hold the fort of preserving the Vedic knowledge in future. In future, will it be a scenario where the mantras have to be recited, heard through YouTube, and then repeated? This should not be so. Certainly, Brahmins in Tamil Nadu are at the crossroads today, and the future scenario for Tamil-speaking Brahmins remain uncertain. Thank you.